Happy Wednesday, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Today is Wednesday. My gosh, Wednesday. I'm trying to bring up on my phone. Oh, here we go. Wednesday, December 21st. Boom, 8:02 a.m. here on the west side of the United States. It's 10 a.m. Eastern. We always go live at 10 a.m. Eastern on our Facebook fan page. So if you're looking around trying to find out where do I watch this dang show, it's on our Facebook fan page every single day. You can also find us on YouTube. Hey, we're also, if you just prefer to listen, you can go to Spotify, you can go to Apple Podcasts, pretty much anywhere you would find a podcast or some sort of show like this, we're probably on it. And you can also, I think, watch on Spotify too. They have a new video feature there too. So if you would like, you can text WUL to 813-296-8553. Every single morning, you'll get a short little text message from us when we go live. And that little text message will give you a little link. All you got to do is tap it. It'll take you straight into Facebook. Hit play, and you'll be immediately transported into our live, and you can watch along with us. If you can't, we have somewhere in the range of 600 replays of these shows from the past few years, and we do it's absurd. We do these every single day, holidays, you name it. Sometimes on a holiday, maybe on Christmas or something, we'll pre-record it in advance, but we're still gonna hit go live even on holidays, and that's just because we want to bring you the best possible inspiration, motivation for your day. So without further ado, let's talk about one of our guests. Today we have on Brittany. What up, Brittany?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for coming on the show. Where are you tuning in from?
From Michigan.
Michigan, right on. Cool. Very cold up there.
Oh, yes.
Nice. Well, tell us a little bit about how you found Legendary. You've been creating content for a little while now. Just tell us a little bit about, you've got different niches that you're creating content in, and I'd love to hear about, first of all, your journey to Legendary, meaning like, you're a full-time stay-at-home mom, which is a full-time job, and you left your corporate job to stay home, and then you found ways to make money on the internet. And I'm just curious how that led you to Legendary Marketer.
Well, yeah, so when my daughter was born, I originally went back to work for a couple months. I was like crying every day. I hated it, hated being away from my daughter. It was never a plan to be a stay-at-home mom. I was very much into money, my degree's in finance. So like I really, enjoy money. Who doesn't, right? And then I made the difficult decision to be home with my child, which then our income got cut in half. And I was like, man, I really don't want to sell the house. I got to find ways to make up some of that income. And I started, scouring the internet for things that I could do. I really got into content creation because I really loved, as a stay-at-home mom, I was just loving being a mom. I wanted to share my motherhood experiences with other people. And I realized a lot of stay-at-home moms are lonely. And I started building a community of other stay-at-home moms and sharing, our life and activities we can do at home when we're, when it's winter and it's cold for 6 months. How do we entertain these kids? And, starting building a community with that. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'm starting to get little tiny nuggets of money from content creation. How can I further this? So, then I started trying to make an Etsy store and selling, shirts and hats and stuff appealed towards moms. That did okay. I started getting the hang of that, but I'm like, I know I can do more. And I stumbled across on TikTok, Emily, who's I know has been on the show and is like a big, a great affiliate, and she inspired me, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. I want to check this out. And so I checked out Legendary. I was sold after the first video. I was familiar with affiliate marketing, but I always did the little tiny small commission affiliate type stuff for things. And I'm like, I know I can take this and do more with it. And I never had an email list before learning, going through Dave's program, and I'm like, I never saw the value in it. I've heard about it, but then after watching him and watching, the step-by-step on how to get a landing page and an email list, I was like, this makes so much sense. Why have I not been doing this all this time? And now,
Right.
like 2 months, or not even a full 2 months yet, I have like combined email list of over 1,000 people that I can reach at my fingertips all the time. I'm like, man, this is so cool. So that's kind
Mhm.
of been my journey to finding Legendary, and how I started making significantly more income once I started implementing his steps and his programs.
Wow, really cool. And it's super cool because we have a lot of people who come into our community who are brand new, right? And they've never heard of even the idea of like building an online community or making money on the internet, right? And it's also cool to hear people who maybe have tried something or tried a few things or have a little traction and then are putting additional pieces together and finding value in our training in ways that are maybe not as common for people who haven't ever tried anything, right?
Mhm.
Which is super cool. So you've got that email list rocking. You've got kind of multiple different pieces that it's like a little puzzle. It's
Right.
we have this thing at Legendary called the puzzle process. It's like an internal training thing, but it's kind of putting the pieces of the puzzle together. And it seems like at least for a big portion of it, the challenge kind of helped put some of those pieces together. Is that right?
Absolutely. And
Cool.
along with putting some of the puzzle pieces together too, when I started growing my mom community and realizing I had all these stay-at-home moms, I created a second account that was teaching moms how I was making money on Etsy. And then after Dave's program, I'm like, I bet the programs I use for Etsy have affiliate programs. And sure enough, that's when I really started. I'm like, I'm going to sign up for these affiliate programs. And now, when people are learning how to make money
Yeah.
using my Etsy programs, I get paid commissions on that too. So it's really like I'm like using the same processes for different things. So it's really cool.
Crazy. Crazy. Yeah. It's wow, what a cool journey into figuring out there I can't think of anything that's more freeing and empowering than discovering additional ways to monetize digital assets. Like there
Hmm.
because there's infinite amounts of ways that you could do it and yeah, it's just crazy. So when you came into our community, now I've got a couple different accounts that you pointed us to. For instance, making money with Mama, and also that Bam Fam. And so, tell us a little bit about tell us a little bit about the different styles of content that you're creating and different accounts that you've got, and kind of just what's the purpose of them and because this will help expand our audience and our community's mind about what's possible, I think. So
Hmm.
tell us a little bit about the different kinds of content you're creating a lot of content and it's
Creating a
super
lot of content.
creative. It's super
Um,
cool.
Thank you. So my motherhood niche that I started on, I'm more all about just trying to be relatable to moms and trying to build that community of moms. So, like I kind of mentioned a little bit
Yeah.
earlier, a lot of my content is geared towards like humor, a lot of entertainment purposes, things that moms can relate to that are like, oh man, my kid does that all the time. It drives me crazy. Or, oh yeah, that's
Right.
relatable. On top of, I like to provide some sort of value in terms of I love doing activities with my kids. I've always been very hands on. And I think a
Cool.
lot of people are looking for ways to entertain their children that's not just a screen all the time. And eh,
Yeah.
finding some things that are going to help their gross motor skills or help develop their speech. And my daughter went through speech therapy. I learned so many speech activities through my therapist that she told me, you can share whatever. So I was
Mm.
loving to help other moms connect with their children. And I'm all about building a bond. How can we build bonds with our kids, and how can we uh, increase their development and help them grow. So I started posting a lot of
Mm.
entertainment, a lot of activities, and things like that. And then when I found Dave's program, I started realizing, that there were in I would have like sponsorship opportunities here and there. I just personally don't care to do those because I don't feel like they feel as authentic. Where affiliate marketing, I choose what product to promote, and you know what I mean. It's
Yep.
something that I actually use and that I love and I feel passionate about. That's why I prefer affiliate marketing so much more than any other, kind of income stream with content creation.
Sure.
Um, so
Yeah,
that's how, and so
totally.
people really took to my activities. They really took to the humor of parenting. And I started building a community that way, and started being able to promote certain activities I would use, that I would, if I bought a certain toy that would enhance the development and that I can do on a daily, certain puzzles, things like that, that I could do with my kids, and then I could get commissions when people would want to buy those puzzles or use those activities too. And then through my other account, Making Money with Mama, is when I started teaching people how to use Etsy to make income from home as a stay-at-home mom. And people, really like that too. That it's a lot more informative way of communicating with an audience rather than like entertaining, and it just providing a different kind of value. So I'm more informative. I still try to be high energy. I still try to be relatable, but it's
Yep.
more of let's educate, let me help you make money, rather than, hey, let's have fun with our kids together and, act like we're hanging out over a screen type thing.
Sure. Yeah, totally, totally. Wow. And I don't have any kids, but we've been thinking about having kids, my wife and I. And also I have 8 nieces and nephews.
Oh,
And so while I'm not a parent, I get the struggle of like creating meaningful time and meaningful experiences with kids outside of just screens and TikTok and YouTube, TV show celebrities,
right.
and all of that kind of stuff. And so, wow, that's super cool and really needed. And from what I've seen, that type of community that's really niched into something that's meaningful,
Hmm.
those communities tend to grow, but some of them grow fast. A lot of times their growth can be a little bit slower, but what happens is it seems like those communities grow stronger. And so there's this bond around something that just means a lot to people.
Hmm.
And for instance, with moms and their kids. And man, that's really powerful. That's cool. And I really love too, I don't know. This just comes to mind and I don't really know. I obviously am not a mom, so I can't speak on this like fully, but I do just think a lot of times when I hear of stay-at-home moms or even dads these days, who are, you know, they're at home but left a career. For instance, yours was in finance. Um, Left a career that was important to them, that they loved, that felt meaningful, and, if you think throughout history, a lot of times, um, think of all of the people who left jobs that they loved and really never got them back because there wasn't a way to make extra money on the side
Right.
or something. There wasn't the internet, and it is just so refreshing to hear how people are finding the outlet for that fulfillment and being
Mhm.
able to make extra money too while being with their kids and being at home and unleashing some creative energy too. And man, that's just such a cool thing to hear. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, I feel like it gives me a little bit more of a purpose and identity outside of being, a lot of stay-at-home moms kind of end up feeling boxed into being just a mom. So having
Yep.
this side hobby business income, makes me feel like I have additional value. Especially, it was a hard to go from working all the time to taking a big hit financially, and it feels good to be able to help contribute.
Totally. That makes perfect sense. So now that how long have you been doing that? When did you leave your job?
I left my job in 2000, or it was actually exactly 3 years ago, because my last day was right
Ah,
around Thanksgiving time,
okay.
of 2019. So 3 years ago. And
Wow.
that's when I kind of started getting into really the content creation, and starting to try and build a community. But I wasn't very consistent at it at first, because at the time my husband still had a really good job. He's now switched careers to something he
Cool.
loves to do, which is great. But it was
Awesome.
also a pay cut. So now that's when I really started being like, okay, I'm going to hone in on this, because I know I can do it and I know I can
Sure.
succeed. And then that's
Sure.
when I really started to see the growth, when I started being consistent and I started focusing on it, and I started putting aside, I started chunking and blocking out time where I'm like, all right, I'm going to get 1 hour done after the kids go to sleep. I'm going to just block out all distractions, and I'm going to power through, either make 5 videos to post throughout the week, or, whatever it is that I wanted to chunk out during that time. And putting
Sure.
aside that time, I feel like has been so important, into being consistent, because I feel like that can be the hardest part sometimes, is staying staying active with it. You might want to get lazy, or you get sick or something and you're like, oh man, I've been sick for a week, I don't want to work, and then you got to try and get back into it. Or now I block out the time, I get ahead for like 2 weeks, and then if something comes up or I just want to relax for a day, I can, I have stuff on autopilot ready to go.
Yeah, so smart. I too am. Well, yeah, that it just brings to mind something I'm thinking a lot through about the blocking of time. That's funny that we are having this interview because I really enjoy big spans of time that are open and sort of whatever, unregulated or whatever. But I'm just finding that that's not a super feasible way for me to work these days. And
Mhm.
so I'm having to think through those blocks of time and how do you block out certain time? How do you make sure that what you've got on maybe a to-do list or maybe just in your head about, I have to create these pieces of content every day, and how do you execute on those? My guess is, what do you think? My guess is that probably becoming a parent and being a mom, you're a little bit forced into it. Is that
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, for sure. You're very
Like,
routine oriented.
right, right, right. Yeah. It's like, hey, there's only so much time in the day. Like, I absolutely have to, like, this is it. This is my block. This is my hour. I got to
Right.
get this
And
done,
that's
or
how
it's
I've
not
even
going to
talked to
happen.
my husband. I'm like, all right, this is my block. I'm like, if you can help like put the dishes away or something, like that would be super helpful, so that it's not in the back of my mind, like worrying about it. I just want to focus in on this. And he's been
Sure.
super supportive through all of it and very helpful. So
Cool.
and,
Wow, that's great. Yeah, and we always talk, we kinda joke, but we always talk at Legendary about how, it's sometimes can be tough to get the spouse to support or the spouse
Mhm.
to sort of, like, really, like, buy into the pipe dreams that sometimes we entrepreneurs have or whatever,
Right.
um yeah, we always joke about, "Hey, wanna know the number one way to get your spouse on board is just make a little bit of money." And
Yeah.
then they're suddenly like, "Hey, I got it. I can do the dishes. No problem."
Right.
It's like,
Exactly.
I can help. No problem at all. This is great," so did you find that you were entrepreneurial, do you have sort of existing entrepreneurial energy, or was it sort of just by basically by force that you were like, "Hey, I have to like, this is the way for me to make income and stay at home with my kids." So it was like a learned skill, or did you have a little bit of entrepreneurial energy and firepower before, having kids and stuff?
I think a little bit of both. I've always
Okay.
been a little bit in the entrepreneurial mindset because my father, he owns his own business now. He's always wanted to own his own business, and then he finally did it, and he's been very successful. I've been so proud of him. And he always tells stories of
Cool.
when I was a little kid. I would go to the Toys R Us or whatever, the toy store, and be like, $4 seems expensive for chalk. I think we can find it cheaper somewhere else. And my dad's like, you're four. What do you know about the price of chalk? Things like that. And I would
Right.
always go to my grandparents and I would be like, I can sweep your floor for $3. And so I've always been just like looking for ways to make extra money and try and, work for money type thing. It's just
Hustling.
kind of, yeah, I've just, ever since I was a kid, I remember being like, I'll sweep your floors for $3, grandma.
I love that.
And then as I got older, I did well in school. Like I said, I got my degree in finance because I've always been I in love with the idea of money and making money and how to help other people make money. And then when I took a step back to be a stay-at-home mom, I just still had this like, man, I just know I can still do something.
Yeah.
And then I did put in a lot of learning to get where I am too, learning how to make content, learning how to get people to buy what you're selling, how to relate to people, some psychology behind content creation and building relationships with people and things like that. So I do think while I had some natural, wanting to be an entrepreneur spirit, I also spent a lot of time reading books, watching videos, taking courses like Dave's, and learning to be where I am too.
Yeah, totally. In those early days, you said something there. In those early days, what do you think when you were learning all of how to create content and stuff? What do you think was instrumental, or what was really valuable to you? What were you doing in those early days? Like, were you, just looking at other people's content in your niche? Were you like just sort of daydreaming? Were you scrolling through and kind of watching what people were doing? I mean, how did you go from, everybody has their, I always say everybody's got their day zero, like
Mhm.
0 followers, no activity, no nothing. Sometimes I'll pull up Gary V, who has millions of followers on Twitter.
Mhm.
Sometimes I'll pull open his account and then I'll sort it, go to the oldest to newest.
Right.
And his, for a year or so, a long time, he was posting on Twitter, replying to people, and there was just nothing. Just
Mhm.
no replies, no retweets, no likes, no nothing, just talking to himself,
That's
you know?
basically how you have to start. You have to act like
Yeah,
you
and
already have the following.
and so when you had that, what were you doing? What do you, if you could look back and say, here's a few things that were really helpful that I did or that I discovered in the early days to start growing my following and creating valuable content. What did you do, or how would you summarize that for people here? Because a lot of people who are tuned in, y'all can let us know in the comments if this is you, are beginning to wonder. They just created a TikTok account. They're like, kind of like, okay, I'm gonna hit post on this first video. I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. What can they do, or what did you do that might help them begin to build their following?
I think being very specific with your intentions, just to start, being very specific and niche down, I think helps
Mm,
you grow a lot faster than just posting broad. When I first started posting, I'd post videos of my dog, I'd post video of my kids. Like, I just want to be like, oh, I'll just post about my life. Like,
sure.
no one really cares that much about what I'm doing. I gotta find a
Sure.
way that's gonna appeal to people. The most important nugget of information I've learned is to create videos that people want to share with other people. And
Mm,
that's what's gonna push you in the algorithm. When people are sharing your content, it's telling the algorithm that this is a great piece of content. People are sharing it with their friends, people are sharing it with their family, and they're gonna keep pushing you to more and more people because they think that this is a great piece of content. So providing some sort of information that people are going to be like, oh, this is a good piece of information. I'm going to save this for me to watch later. That's an engagement
mm,
that TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest, whatever social media that you're using, when you say, oh, I need to save this for later because I need to come back to this, it's telling that social media platform this is a valuable piece of content because it's engagement. Someone
yes.
saving your is engaging. If I'm posting a tip for baby sleep, in my motherhood niche, people are like, oh, I need to send this to my friend who's struggling with their child right now. And they send it to
Right.
that person. Engagement, something that elicits a
Right.
response, you asking a question. What do you struggle with when it comes to parenting? And people commenting shows engagement. So anything that you can do to elicit a response, and you want to be quick and to the point. You don't want to have these long breaths of in silence. You want to make sure people's attention spans are this big these days. You need to get to the point. You need to make it fast, and you need to,
Right.
you know, end it on a quick note so that people don't click off your video before, you know that again the algorithm sees if someone watches the video in completion, that's a thumbs up in the algorithm's view. So don't be like
Yeah.
dragging out the end. You want to end quickly so that it goes back to the beginning and you're like, all right, that's a full watch.
Bingo. Totally.
I hope that all kind of
Totally.
makes sense. I know that was kind of long-winded, but I've learned so
Oh,
much about social media, so I have a lot in my mind about it.
oh, it makes perfect sense. Yeah, that's amazing. I think that the piece specifically about, creating short to the point content that's super niche down, right? Speaking
Mhm.
to exactly your avatar. And it is a little interesting because a lot of times people are like, well, for instance, here's a good example. Let's take out Seth's comment here. That's what I'm currently struggling with, is imposter
Mhm.
syndrome, right? And I'll tell you how I kind of respond or reply to something like that, and then you can kind of tell me, your thoughts. But a lot of times, when we have this imposter syndrome, the number one way that I think you can deal with that is to think of yourself on social media more as a reporter. So for instance, some of your most viral videos, I happen to see a couple of them, like Etsy shop advice, right? Or
Yeah.
like part one and part two about stuff like that. And I think that viewing yourself as a reporter style marketer as opposed to an expert style marketer, like a lot of CNN, Fox News, all these different news organizations, they're not the experts. They're reporting about experts. They're reporting about the news. And a lot of times people don't see that through that lens of how they could do that, but it helps because it removes all of the requirements of you to be this big stand-up expert who's got it all together. And you can report on things that you're learning. You can report on the results of other people. For instance, like if I was in a weight loss company or something and I was promoting some sort of weight loss um, recipe guide or something on 10 foods not to eat if you want to lose weight fast. Um, and it ultimately promoted some sort of company. I could go to that company's website and look for some testimonials to report about, and I could look for people who had gotten crazy results and I could say, hey, look at, and I could do a green screen and I could do, because I also saw you did some green screen videos. You could do a green screen and have the article above you and be like, look at this article. This is so cool, and actually be like a green screen, whatever weatherman or something in front of the green screen, pointing around and talking about different things. And honestly, that's what people love. And the kind of content that goes really viral nowadays anyway is like people
Mhm.
love seeing green screen, people talking about current events, talking about what's going on in the world. And I think there's just lots of opportunity for that. What do you think about that? Or what's your take?
I agree a lot. And on a side note, using green screen and TikTok features also will help TikTok push you in the algorithm because they want you using the
Yes,
things that they create. Um,
exactly.
and in terms of imposter syndrome, I agree. You just have to, the term, I don't want to say fake it till you make it because I do think it helps to have some sort of knowledge background, but
Yeah.
agreed. A reporting style type basis. I see so many TikToks, YouTube videos, all sorts of things being like, look how this person made whatever $3,000 this month and then explains the technique because obviously we can't be experts in 50 different ways of making money online, but we can share
Right.
them and
Right.
start building trust and start building that, community. And then when it comes to pitching what you do know about, people are going to trust you.
Exactly. It's so true, so true. And I think, oh wow, what a gold nugget there. Using the tools that are already built into the app. I mean,
Mhm.
using green screen features, using funny filters. I
Mhm.
know the one that's always funny to me is the one that's like, the huge head one.
Oh, I
Um,
love that.
it's those videos get me every time, they're so great. But using stuff like that with like a funny joke and stuff, like I always see those going viral. Using green screen, using Stitch. A lot of
Mhm.
times people are confused or overwhelmed about how do I create a really great hook? Well, if you see a video that has 14 million views or something, there's a good chance that video went viral for a reason. There's a
Right.
great hook. And you could um uh, a while back on one of our Thursday business blueprints webinars, I opened up the TikTok app. Sometimes I'll do this on the blueprints webinars. I'll actually open the TikTok app live on my phone. I'll share my phone screen, which can be a little dangerous. And then and then I'll go into TikTok and I will actually create a video. Like we'll search out a certain hashtag, find whatever's trending there. So this mom, basically a homeschool mom, was teaching about homeschool strategies, whatever. And I did a stitch with her, totally disagreeing with her. I had no idea what I was talking about. I was just kind of making it up, but just like kind of just railing on her, just like, this is a bunch of BS. Like you don't even know, and just kind of like creating a little controversy.
Yes.
And my point was like, look, this is a feature built into the TikTok app because they want people engaging with one another, spending more time, having a little bit of like back and forth controversy or like funny or basically stirring human emotion up a little bit to keep
Mhm.
them on the app. And so I love that point of using the existing features inside of the app and not going out. I would add on to that point by saying not going out and using like a iMovie on your Mac to create these really curated, edited videos that don't look native to the platform. Your videos should look native to the platform. They should look like they were made in the TikTok app because that's what people are used to. And as soon as they see something that's abnormal, um, for instance, a couple weeks ago, this girl was saying, um, is a client of ours. She was saying, you know, my TikTok account isn't growing. And as soon as we looked at her TikTok account, I noticed that she was using this font from the app CapCut, and it just looked like this weird, um, like a kind of an old Android phone native font. It was like kind of cursive-y a little bit. And I was like, this doesn't look like it was made on TikTok. And
Right.
people, as soon as they see that, they're just like, the emojis are all weird. And it's like, they just know to scroll. Like it's embedded in our brain. It's like, this is some marketer or somebody's trying to
Mhm.
their intuition, their alarm bells are going off. And so, man, that's a big point. It seems obvious, I think, to me and you maybe,
Right.
who have been on the apps for a while, but from a creator side, for people who are newer, wow, what a gold nugget. That was really important and really key.
For sure. And I know from my personal experience, the videos that I've tried to make, that I was like, okay, I'm going to spend a lot of time on this. I'm going to film it outside the app. I'm going to edit it. I'm going to put like nice captions. I spend like an hour on one video, like crickets. And then, but when I post, something that's 20 seconds, then people love it, or, it's packed with value. Yeah, I agree. Some people just like what they're familiar with.
For real. And I can't even tell you how many people we've interviewed and talked to, or people at the mastermind that we've interviewed, people who've earned six figures online,
Mhm.
and all of them say that same thing. They're just like, yeah, every single video I've ever made, it took me like, an hour or 2 hours to create, and I was like, "This is gonna be the one. I've curated
Mhm.
all
Yeah.
these pieces, I've put them all together, this is gonna be it," and it's like 100 views. And
Yeah.
they're like, "This is my least viewed video I've ever put out." And then, a 10-second stupid video with, like, they're washing dishes or something, right? And it's just like, 3 million views, and it's just like, "Come on, what?"
One of my videos in my motherhood niche that did the best in terms of bringing me affiliate income was literally just a 10-second video I already had in my phone. I didn't even record it for the purpose of just my kids riding a train together, like a little rideable train. And then people went berserk over this train, wanting to know where I got it, where they can find it. And I'm like, all right, let's look at the affiliate program for this. And it got over 1 million views, and I think got 8,000 clicks, and that's just to the affiliate. I'm sure there might have been people that went and found it themselves or did whatever, but 8,000 clicks just to my affiliate link from one 10-second video of my kids just riding along on a train together. It's crazy, but
It is crazy.
it was what people were looking for. Especially, it came at a good time around Christmas time.
Yeah. Oh, and wow, another gold nugget. Here's the interesting thing, I think, is once you start to see, like, what I just heard you say is something that will change how people think about creating content, because a lot of what people use, in terms of, like, for instance, one thing that's really popular right now is using like a text wall. So like
Mhm.
it's a video of them doing something normal, but there's like, two paragraphs of text, and the
Yes.
video keeps replaying and replaying and
Mhm.
replaying and replaying, and they get millions of views from it or whatever. But um or they just put some sort of captions over something, right? And so while they're out like just doing normal life, right? They got their family or whatever. They're just taking a 10-second clip or a 20-second clip, maybe walking into the grocery store or going to the park or whatever it is. If it's like weight loss or something, going into the gym or walking into the gym, and like they might even just film the treadmill thing, or
Mhm.
whatever, and just grabbing tons and tons and tons of these types of videos throughout their whole day, just little bite size, bite size, bite size. And then you can go into the app at the end of the day, sit down for 30 minutes and just create 3, 5 pieces of content. And it doesn't, here's what's revolutionary, I think, is it doesn't require that you hold up your phone and you just be like, "Hi, good to see you. Welcome to my channel." You know,
Right.
you don't have to do that anymore. That's so mind-blowing to me because it's just so simple to create content these days if you see it through the lens of, "Oh, I can creatively put clips out that tell a story and use text and headlines on my video where I can generate millions of views, thousands, hundreds of thousands of followers, um, as a total beginner." It's crazy.
Right.
It's out of control.
Especially if people at the beginning, it can be a little intimidating to like film yourself on camera. Like you feel kind of funny talking to your phone. And I totally
Mhm.
get that. Even like I've been with my husband, we've been together since we were 14 years old. I still can't film a video in front of him if I'm talking. And even when he's watching my videos next to me, I'm like, can you not watch these right now? These are for like strangers on the internet. And
I
so
love
I
it.
get that it can feel embarrassing and awkward if you pull up your
Sure.
phone and talking to yourself. So having those new ways
Mm.
of not having to do that and still being able to build a community until you start gaining some comfortability on the app, I think is such a great way to start too.
Such a great way to start. Such a great way to start. You can get rid of imposter syndrome. You can get rid of
Mm-hmm.
fear of being on camera, all kinds of stuff. Man, if I was getting started, I'd go and buy a $5 to $10 tripod off of Amazon,
Mm-hmm.
and I would have that thing on me at all times. You can set that thing up. Heck, you can say, I got a little water bottle sitting next to me. I could set my phone up against my water bottle, turn on my camera and just kind of look at it. And I could like point, like make 2
Right.
points and then like make a 10-second video that's just like got a little, words moving around on the screen or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I'd get a little tripod. I'd bring that with me everywhere and, set that thing up. Uh, Whether I'm walking by the gym or I'm walking by the pet store if I'm in the dog niche or something like that,
Right.
or whatever it is, and I'd just be filming little bite-sized pieces nonstop where it doesn't have to be perfect clips, they don't have to be super curated, all of it just
Provide the
filmed
value.
on my phone.
Right. As long as you provide value, people are interested.
Totally, totally, wow. Um, Geez, Brittany, this has been really great stuff, and I'm actually grateful for all of the stuff that you stirred up in my mind. I'm like, holy crap, there is so much good stuff here, and I'm glad that I'm glad that you got to share that on today's show for everybody. For people who are new, I'll give you the last word today. For people who are new, for instance, lots of people watch this show. William's on here, Seth's on here, Paula's on here, April's on here. Lots and lots of people watch this show just as they're getting started,
Mm-hmm.
and they're sort of like wondering, huh? Wonder if this is possible for me. Wonder if I can figure out how to build an audience, and a following that would follow me, and maybe more importantly, could I turn that into money?
Mm-hmm.
Could I actually pull that off? What would you say to those people, or what do you say to those people, um, as they're just getting going?
I would say so many people cut themselves short on their capabilities. They think they don't have the right confidence, they don't have the right look, they don't have the right relatability. You are likable. You can do this. You have so many tools at your fingertips. There's so many different type of people that will love you, that will engage with you, that will love what you have to bring to the table. You don't have to be self-conscious, just start doing it and don't be afraid of, there's always going to be those kind of trolls out there, but don't let them get to you. You are likable, you are capable of it, you deserve it. you know just start. Like there's so many tools, and so many different niches that you can make money. I've looked at tons of different affiliate programs when trying to expand into different niches, and there's just so much potential to make money in any niche. You don't have, if you're interested in anything, if you're interested in crafts, if you're interested in do-it-yourself things, if you're interested in motherhood, if you're interested in animals, sports, there's affiliate programs for it all, and there's people that are interested in you and what you have to say about it. So don't cut yourself short. Know that you're worthy. Know that you're likable. Know that you're relatable. Don't be like, I'm not interesting. You are interesting. And that's what I would like to share with every single person wondering if they should do it. You should.
Wow. Okay, I can't say that better. That was really great, and thank you for that.
I hope that's motivating.
That's motivating as hell. Yeah, I literally just I sent a message over our team. I said, "Hey, make sure you rip this little sound bite. We're gonna make this into a reel and post it in our group because that I want to make sure that our whole community hears that." Um, and I think it is very true. There's people across all different niches, industries, and the main thing that you have to do as a marketer or, affiliate marketer, digital marketer, whatever you want to call it, is you have to be able to create some form of value and entertainment for people. And that's really it. Create a little bit of a fun environment for people. And that's what people are really looking for. Fun, but also, is there some value there? Is there something I can get from this? You create those things, that good kind of positive energy. And man, any niche, any industry, you can build that following and then figure out, how do I monetize this? But the first thing is, am I connectable? Am I attachable? Can people watch my content? Are they going to follow me? Figure that out. And then, I think the pieces kind of fall in place, then you'll find the 15-day challenge and figure out how to monetize it even better.
Right.
Man, thank you so much for coming on the show. This was great. And I know you came on short notice, so thank you even more so for that. And yeah, stay in touch. We'd love to hear back from you in a couple months. If you want to reach out, you can respond to Roxy via email, and we'd love to just have you back on the show. That would be super cool.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been very fun.
Cool. Awesome. Well, have a good rest of your day.
All right, you too.
See ya. Okay, you can follow Brittany on TikTok. It's Making Money with Mama. You can also follow Brittany on Instagram at thatbamfam. And go give her a follow. Let her know you found her on Wake Up Legendary. We'll be back here tomorrow, same time, same place, 10 a.m. Eastern. We've got another guest lined up. We're ready to rock. We'll see you back here on Thursday.